Okay, let's try this again. I was on location in my backyard and I had my microphone on and I uploaded, and shame on me, I did not actually look at it first. So you have reached Energy with Shay Rizzo, Rebecca Rizzo with the red hair, and this is take 2 on my making a list to help you when you are down. If this is your first time making it to my channel, thank you. I'm so glad you found me. This channel is all about sharing with you all of the different techniques and all the metaphysical things that I have learned on my journey, because I suffer from anxiety and depression, self-esteem issues, all kinds of issues that we all have, right? Only I really want to make sure that I'm not in that headspace anymore. So I started a journey a couple years ago during COVID and started my meditation journey. I'm now over 500 days of doing a daily meditation. And I'm also in the midst of a transition myself. I was working at an organization for 7 years and I stopped and actually went independent as an independent business owner in October. I am only about 66 days in being an independent business owner. I am in business with my daughter. She's amazing. She actually started this. We started this in 2019, only she was the one who was handling it because I had a full-time gig. So it's pretty exciting. We're stepping out, but I will tell you, being a business owner is incredibly different than actually working for somebody else. On the level of anxiety, that is something I really it's funny because a lot of business owners go into business because they say they want to go ahead and be independent. They want to be in charge of their own everything, right? And that was kind of some of the dialogue I shared too. Only the level of anxiety that you feel when you are actually doing this for yourself is a level that was unexplainable to me. Now, I've always been a major workaholic. I have always really wanted to overdo. I always do more than what I'm asked. And so it's kind of different when you're doing it for yourself, because I'm going to tell you, I'm not stopping. I didn't stop before, but now I'm not stopping out of sheer guilt and just the whole wanting to make sure that I am as effective as possible and efficient as possible. So that being said, I'm dealing with a lot of anxiety. I am dealing with a lot of issues where I'm not sure what to do or where to go or what to feel or what am I feeling or any of those things. So I found that making lists, really kind of evaluating and really asking yourself again, different questions, that it's helped. And that's really kind of what's helped with me. I've been doing some research. I'm on Pinterest. For those of you who know, if you haven't already, find me, Rebecca Rizzo, Energy with Shay Rizzo. That's what I'm under Pinterest as well. And you can actually I found some cool articles and things about mental health and things. One of the things I found is when you are feeling down, you can make some lists. Now, of course, you don't want to make a list of all the things you have to do, right? Because when you are already feeling overwhelmed and down, that can make you feel even more overwhelmed and down if you're not in the right headspace. And so a good way to go ahead and get yourself into a good space is make some lists. And now some of the lists, there's going to be 4 ideas I'm giving you on list making today. Again, this is my second go around. So my cover thumbnail is me outside. Well, that didn't work out. So I am now here in my studio. You see, this is my normal area I am. So the 4 lists that I'm going to have you ask yourself is, first of all, lists all the things that you would do if you were not afraid. So think about all those things. If you could take fear right out, what would be some of those things on that list? I would start my own business. No, let's see. If you weren't afraid, would you go talk to people maybe you wouldn't talk to before? Would you go on a trip or an adventure? I mean, think about the things that you are not moving forward doing because of fear. And make a list of all the things that you are afraid of and that you would really like to do. Okay. Like if you weren't afraid, what would you do? The next list is list the places that you go in your mind when you are trying to find peace and quiet and calm. What does that look like? I often find myself retreating to a meadow where there is a forest all around and I've got a meadow with tall grasses, and lilac flowers and different pink blossoms just scattered around the meadow. I see that and I take myself there and I can sit myself in the meadow and I can bring myself and I can listen to the birds and I can see the butterflies, and that's where I take myself. I also take myself to the side of a bubbling brook and listening to the water hitting the rocks. I retreat there too, and there's a lot of other places I find myself. So when someone says close your eyes and relax, where do you go? Okay, so think about that. Write out a list of some of those quiet places, because it's a really neat way to bring you back and to bring you into that vibrational level on where you normally are when you're in that space of daydream. And it's a really neat place to visit, honestly. It's a cool place when you're down to remind yourself where you were when you go for calm. So it's a really important thing for your mental health. The other is, what does a perfect day look like to you? A perfect day. What does that look like? Now, my perfect day yesterday might have been different than my perfect day looks tomorrow. And that's something you want to keep in mind, because your perfect is going to be different every day, just like you are, right? How you feel today. Like, I have been suffering with a lot of transition. I've been using that word a lot of transition and expansion. And that being said, I've been dealing with a lot of headaches. I've been dealing with a lot of fatigue, a lot of muscle aches because of the transition. And when you're going through a lot of that inner child work and you're working into those things, that what is it I really like? What is it perfect to me? What would be that one day that just makes me so incredibly happy? A lot of the time we're afraid to ask ourselves that. We're afraid to put those levels of things that we truly want out there. We're kind of afraid to say it out loud. Once you make those lists, it helps you manifest. This is a really cool way of manifesting your reality by making these lists and reminding yourself vibrationally those things. So again, the things that if you weren't afraid, what would you do? Where would you go for your peace of mind? And again, what's a perfect day look for? Now, the very last list is probably the one you're going to need to take the most time on. And it's also the one that is the most important, in my opinion. It's something I'm working on. I mentioned the inner child work, the shadow work I've been working on. And for those who don't know what shadow work is, it's really all those dark places, those pieces of you that you may not really want to admit are you, but are. It's kind of the flip side to the coin. That shadow, those deep, dark places of yourself that you really want to hide away. When you start to do shadow work, it really helps you dive into the person that you were when you made some of the decisions or did some of the things that you had done, who you were and why, and peels back that onion as to what were you gaining, what were you after, so that you can really talk to that child and address that child on whatever it was that they were trying to finagle. I've found that there is a lot of sides of me that I didn't want to admit were me. There's a lot of things that I've done in my past. There's a lot of things, a lot of thoughts that have gone into my head, actions, things that I would not want to admit that I am incredibly ashamed of, but I also need to learn from those things. Why did I choose to do some of those things, right? Well, while you're going through those inner child work and you do find yourself down and you need to make some lists, one of the lists is to make a list of all the things that make you awesome. Okay, so it's a really neat counter to when you're going deep diving into your inner child and you kind of uncover some of those things. You need to remind yourself of what is so wonderful about you. And there are so many wonderful things about you. And it's hard because you feel ashamed to celebrate those things a lot. I know I do. People always tell me you're so loud, and I immediately feel upset because they tell me I'm loud. I don't think of that as a positive attribute of who I am. I don't think of the vibration that I bring to the room necessarily as something that is a positive. I feel as though a lot of the time it is it inserts itself, and it may be a bit annoying to some folks, my level of energy. And so being able to celebrate the things that you think are awesome about you is a really important to get closer to really loving yourself. Making yourself feel a bit better about the things and celebrating yourself is really important. Like, okay, I'll do three things that I like about myself that I think I'm awesome. I am really awesome at art. Okay. I'm awesome at being creative. I really like that when someone comes to me and they present a challenge, something that is a obstacle, that I have instantaneous, probably about 3 different ideas on how to get around or get through and get over it. And I never really stop. It's kind of, it happens and it's uncontrollable. It's an innate inside me where I'm a puzzle. I find and I solve puzzles, and I like to do that. I'm very artistic. It's kind of ironic because I am also very abstract, and I am so far from being analytical, but there are moments where I am, and having lists and being able to take control over those lists is really important to me. Now, you're also going to see one other thing today. You're seeing my roots, and you're seeing I have no makeup on. This was actually on purpose, because I am really trying to be a little bit more authentically myself and love myself and celebrate myself with all of my imperfections. And this is one of those lessons on me kind of being out there and being a bit vulnerable. I'm 49 years old as of probably a couple days ago, and I have no makeup on. I'm a mother of 4, and I think I'm doing a pretty cool job, right? I even despite all the mistakes and everything that I've done in my past that I have, that we've learned from, and all of the successes that we've learned from. The cool thing is you have to make mistakes to be successful, because if not, right, how are you going to learn and continue to expand? So I will say that this was my way of sharing with you. It's been really hard for me lately. I've had a really hard time transitioning out and really kind of identifying who I am now. Who am I? If I'm not attached to that job I was at for 7 years and I am just me now, who is that? And so it's not like I've really changed any. It's more of my own perception of who I am is what changed. So I wanted to bring these 4 lists that are really honestly my own homework assignment, so it can help me with my own mental health, is really to work on those. So again, the perfect day, what's that look like? The places that you go in your mind to relax and stay calm, the things that you would do if you weren't afraid. And again, the most important is all the things that make you awesome and amazing. Thanks so much. Again, this is Rebecca Rizzo with the red hair, Energy with Shay Rizzo, and you have found me here. And if you like it, please subscribe, comment, share. Honestly, you guys, I believe that we are all here to find our happy, because the more times that we find our happy, our vibration frequency it changes around us, and it starts to radiate and bumps into other people. And as long as we keep that vibration happy and that ripple continues to expand, it bumps in and it changes the world. So I believe that the reason we're here is to find things to make us happy. And I hope I did that for you today. Thanks so much. Peace out. Happy New Year.